Welcome to Fade to Chat, Golden Age Cinema. Hey, today we're doing such a great film, I think. I have yet to find out what Cindy thinks about it. But I'm Marty Gencius, and with me is Cindy Rotz, co-host, and we are doing The Maltese Falcon, a film from 1941 with John Huston as the director, his directorial debut. It includes supporting casts like Gladys, Humphrey Bogart as Sam Spade, Mary Astor as Brigid O'Shaughnessy, Peter Lorre as Joel Cairo, and Sidney Greenstreet as Kasper Gutman. Also, you have Elijah Cook in there, who plays Wilbur. And Elijah Cook shows up in a lot of movies as a character actor. And isn't it, I think, just an interesting character actor in the different films he's been in. And Walter Huston shows up in an uncredited cameo. Do you know what the cameo is, Cindy?
I do.
He is the captain who stumbles into the office and drops the Maltese Falcon and dies in Sam Spade's office.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you remember Walter Huston. Walter Huston was an actor in and of himself, and I most remember him from The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, which he plays the old guy dancing around, having a good time, and kind of goes along for the trip to find the treasure. And eventually winds up in Mexico and just living the life in Mexico. He's the only one that kind of gets out of it alive in the process. But Walter Huston was, I think, a great actor, and then he shows up in this in an uncredited role, helping his son out, John Huston, who directed this. Ward Bond is in there. He's another character actor that's been around. And Gladys George, Barton, MacLane. So I guess I'm going to go directly to you and ask you, what did you think of this movie?
I had some reservations at first because I thought we had talked about Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca, and I had just recently watched that, so I was good with him. But I do have trouble sometimes with these murders because I have a hard time keeping it all straight. And this one in particular, I've watched the movie now 3 times, and I really had to concentrate and make a lot of notes. In fact, I thought to myself, oh my God, don't quiz me on this, Marty, because I'm going to get it all mixed up. But I think I finally have it straight. Who killed who, why they killed them, but it was a little bit confusing at first.
Mm-hmm.
And I even employed ChatGPT to help me a couple of times.
Like, who killed Floyd Thursby? That was a question I had this time, and why?
Yes. Yeah. And of course, Brigid O'Shaughnessy, her name wasn't that in the beginning. She was Miss Wonderly. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Now she's got a different name. And yeah.
And for a brief moment, she had
had
another name between Wonderly and O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was complicated, but in a good way. But
Yeah,
it's
it was
one
a
of
dash.
those, I won't remember it if you ask me probably in 2 weeks. It's like, oh, I forget. So I wrote it all down.
Yeah. Well, it's a Dashiell Hammett novel, which based on that John Huston produced the screenplay on it based on that novel, although Hammett and John Huston get credit for the screenplay. And he also storyboarded the whole film before shooting it.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew exactly what he wanted. And Hitchcock would storyboard all of his films before going into them. So it was basically just putting people in position, have them say their lines, and then changing position when the scene changed or the storyboard changed. So it was an interesting process for him, but he had it down to the script, to the word, and none of the script changed from this. I had trouble when I watched it this time figuring out who was Thursby and why he had any relationship to this group. And from what I could tell, he was someone who O'Shaughnessy connected with, who promised her that he would find the Maltese Falcon, and she was okay with killing or getting him killed for that reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
She began to distrust him, that she wasn't going to get her fair share.
Right.
And so that's why she had him killed. Yeah, that took me a little while too to figure out.
Okay, so let's take the mise en scene. Let's take the picture at a large point of view. I kind of like movies that I can't figure everything out, because it means if I really like them, I'll go back and watch them again. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this will be a movie you'll go back someday and watch again, but
yeah,
but so I like those open what like my wife goes nuts when she doesn't have all the ends tied up for her, and for me it's like, no, I want to walk out of the theater thinking. So so the movie as a whole, outside of the confusion around the plot or the having to go back and study it more, particularly for this, what'd you think of the film?
I enjoy the darkness of it. I know I don't mean darkness I mean literal darkness. I enjoy the scenes, the lighting, because we talked about that in A Spiral Staircase too. I enjoy those dark kind of, it just adds to the overall tone of it. And the you had told me about, what's his name? Gutman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Kasper
it's
Gutman.
Sydney Greenstreet.
Sydney Greenstreet, yes. But the way they shot, the angles that they shot him made such a difference, because you were like down at a low angle, and it made him that much more menacing. And of course, he was a very large man to begin with, 357 pounds, I think they said.
Right.
They had to make special clothing for him. They had to have special furniture for him because of his large size. And he was one of my very favorites in this film. He and Peter Lorre, of course. But I really enjoyed him.
Yeah, I definitely do not care for Mary Astor at all. I think that was kind of a misplay in terms of casting. She was trying to get her reputation cleaned up. She had gone through a bad custody battle before the movie, or years before the movie, and this gave her an opportunity to kind of get in and have a good movie hit. Humphrey Bogart in the film, I laughed a lot with the stuff that he did, because he was so quick with his comments, and he would turn on a dime and kind of get angry at somebody to kind of push them further in terms of where he needed them to be. But I'll tell you, my favorite two actors in this were Sydney Greenstreet and Peter Lorre. And Peter Lorre, he had an interesting career starting in Germany, and he played, I can't remember the name of the film. I've got him up, so I'll take a look at this. He played a movie that I think he played like a child predator or someone who murdered a child.
Ooh.
And because of that, he was an actor in 110 roles.
And he worked with Sidney Greenstreet in 9 different films.
Yeah, he did.
And now I'll have to go back because he was in Casablanca. I'll have to go back and watch that again.
Sidney Greenstreet.
Mm-hmm.
And was Peter Lorre in Casablanca? I don't think so.
I looked it up. It said they appeared in 9 films together,
Oh,
including
yeah.
Casablanca, Background to Danger,
Oh,
Three
yeah.
Strangers. I wrote them down.
Yeah, I see it here in the listing. 110 credits. He played in Silk Stockings. That's the one with Greta Garbo, where she plays a Russian diplomat who comes to the U.S. and is a staunch Leninist and comes to the U.S. and gets seduced by American culture. Oh, M. He played in M, which was
Yeah, I saw that.
Ein Staat sucht einen Mörder. I knew my German would come in handy one day.
Is that something about murder?
Yeah,
Murder.
and I'm probably pronouncing it umlauted O badly, but so yeah, it's a interesting film, but he was so creepy in that movie that he had a hard time trying to shake that role. And of course, he was also in Arsenic and Old Lace as Dr. Einstein.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of, he starts to move into more comedic, more lighter roles to try and shake that reputation of being a terrifying murderer in M with that. I just find him fascinating. I also believe that he was a heavy drinker in the later part of his career. And although he played really good roles, he struggled with alcoholism. And that didn't seem to interrupt his acting too much, but or being ready for his acting too much. Otherwise, he wouldn't have continued on doing films.
Well, he certainly drank in Arsenic and Old Lace.
Yeah.
Because he said he couldn't perform the surgery without a drink. He was so nervous. And I don't know if you remember, going back to that movie, when he was afraid he was going to be caught by the policeman, he said he just kind of snuck out of the house. He said, well, I'll be going now. He did the same thing in this movie. At one point, he said, well, I should go now. And he just kind of snuck right out of the room.
Yeah, unfortunately, like some of his later films were The Patsy, which I think is it a Jerry Lewis film? Yeah, it's a Jerry Lewis film. And then he was also in, of course, Arsenic and Old Lace, Maltese Falcon, Casablanca. But later films in '64, he's doing Muscle Beach Party, A Comedy of Terrors, Kraft Suspense Theater, 77 Sunset Strip in '63. Just some really kind of weird acting arrangements for his quality.
Yeah. Something I missed, and I'm sure you didn't, they kept referring to the gardenia.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that right away. I thought, okay, what's the deal with the gardenia? Of course, that was a reference to him being gay.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Yeah, that's what I saw it as.
Okay. But right after he came into the office with Sam Spade, and the secretary came in and said his business card smelled of gardenia, and then his handkerchief smelled of gardenia. The next scene, they were showing Brigid O'Shaughnessy, and she had this big flower on her dress, and I thought maybe that was a gardenia, and there was some association between the two of them. And I asked ChatGPT, and it said no, she just had a flower on her dress. But I thought there was some association there with gardenias and her, but it said no.
Yeah, the more I watch this film, the more I see that this was their reference to Joel Cairo as being gay. And, he's dressed rather dandily, or he's dressed as a dandy. And, even when Humphrey Bogart's going through his wallet, all the different things he found in there, besides the multiple passports, the different kinds of money, as seen by some of the money had, and this is true for international currency, some of the money had a square punched in the middle. And just, it was quite clear they were setting his plot line as someone who is really chasing after this Maltese Falcon, this golden bird. I noticed this the first time. I noticed it when I watched it most recently. The introduction, where they go past the director and then they do a scroll of the plot, basically where they explain what the Falcon was and how they got it. And John Huston objected to that and didn't want it, but basically Warner Brothers insisted on putting it in there. And people kind of said, no, that's really weird, because I don't know why they put that there. Why is that in the beginning? And to me, it's a little disappointing in that they are giving away a major plot shift early on in the movie, and people who just started the film won't know the context for it other than the name of the film. So it's revealed again by Gutman, and the story is basically told again by Gutman. Which makes me think again, sometimes you have to sit and wait for a reveal. But John Warner thought, no, we need to put this up front or people will be totally confused. Did that fix your confusion?
I understood the Falcon better than I understood everybody trying to get it and their connection with each other and why they're shooting everyone. No, I understood why they wanted the Falcon, because it was supposedly this rare, jeweled bird. But when they got it, that scene I thought was very interesting. They were, so frantic unwrapping it and, so, like, oh my gosh, we finally got it. And they were so excited. And when they opened it up and finally set this black bird up on the table, I'm like, that's it? And then he starts chipping away at it to see if it's real. To me, it didn't look like it had any jewels underneath it.
Yeah.
I just thought they could have done a better job. Of course, that wasn't the real one; it was a fake. But it didn't impress me as something that looked like it was going to be valuable.
Yeah, they describe it as encrusted with enamel to hide its true expense, hide its true cost. So yeah,
But the surface of it didn't look like it had jewels underneath.
Yeah, it didn't have any bumps on it and such.
No, it was just like, like feathers. And I thought the reaction was very interesting, because Cindy Greenstreet, well, first of all, Peter Lorre, he was just beside himself. He was just like, so disappointed and kind of collapsed on a chair. But Cindy Greenstreet, he was like, well, we'll just try again. We're going to spend another year of our lives trying to get this thing, and he just was like, well, we'll just keep trying.
Well, if you want a replica of the 1941 Maltese Falcon,
yes,
I can have it in Prime tomorrow for $20.
Free delivery.
Handmade resin, free delivery. Yeah, don't have to kill Do not have to kill Thursby to get it. I mean, I've always liked the idea of having that prop on my or a replica of the prop on my desk, just to see who gets it and who doesn't get it, because it is a identifier of people who understand classic movies, because it's so iconic. I just Amazon that to find out. I think it used to be like it's 7.8 inches. No, 7.8 inches.
A little smaller.
Yeah.
Wasn't the original one like 12 inches, I thought? They had they described it, I think, in the movie as about 12 inches high. Or maybe I just imagined that.
Here is, I'm looking at a replica that is a Maltese Falcon statue movie prop replica, full size. And let's see and they want $180 for it. Thank you. I'll get the resin made version. And let me see if I can get a size on it.
I want to know how much it weighs, too. Because in the movie, they had 8 of them made. 2 were lead and 6 were plaster. And the lead ones weighed 50 pounds each. And one of them dropped on Humphrey Bogart's foot during the shooting.
Okay, so here's the story on it. People hate it when we do this. It's like, go back to the movie.
I know. Well, we are.
Yeah. If you've listened to this, you've seen the movie, this is something you don't know. So the $180 version stands approximately 11.5 inches and weighs almost 5.85 pounds. I think it's because it's made of very resistant polyethylene resin and finished with satin black, with light golden touches to give it the presence and elegance. So they're going to charge me more
for 2 of them. Then you can use them for dumbbells.
That would be funny.
5 they're only dumbbells, right?
They're only 5 pounds.
Right.
Yeah, I get 2 of them to go. I got them both. Yeah. Well, who knows? There might be a statue showing up in the future.
I think we should bring it to Macstock.
Oh, I don't think they'd get it. I mean, I really don't think they'd get it. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the movie.
Yeah, I know.
So what you like about this darkness is what they call film noir. And they see it as the first true film noir, although I would bet there are other ones that just did not make the legacy that this film did. Right. It's low-key lighting, shadows, Dutch angles.
Now, what does that mean? I read that, Dutch angles.
I think it's the thing that I talked about when last show, where I said, and I don't know if it made it to the show or not, it's a cinematic and photographic technique where this camera is intentionally tilted on its roll axis so that the horizontal is not level. And you see this in the film a lot. There's a shot with Humphrey Bogart sitting in a chair and O'Shaughnessy standing, and they shoot from his eye level but angle it up towards her standing, and you see the ceiling portion of it.
Okay.
So I think that is an example. There was a shot during this film I could not figure out. As it was said that, and maybe you can tell me where it was. There's a 7-minute continuous moving camera sequence It took 2 days to rehearse.
I read that this morning, Marty, in the notes, and I was trying to think of that too, where it is. I
So with a little bit of research, this 7-minute scene occurred while people are in the apartment waiting for the Falcon to come. And that is a continuous shot that they did in this film. And it took 2 full days to rehearse, because you want to rehearse a continuous shot so people are well rehearsed in it, so they don't have to do a lot of takes, and then you have to start over and use a lot of film. So it's completed in a single take, and they spent the rest of the day at the golf club, which was interesting. So good rehearsal means you can get the shot in a single take. And I know Humphrey Bogart used to like to golf, and I knew John Huston used to like to golf and used to like to drink. And I think Humphrey Bogart used to like to drink. So I can vision them on the golf course in the afternoon after they did a single shot and a single take with it. So
one thing I noticed during that scene was it obviously was overnight that they were waiting, because everybody was like lying down on sofas and chairs and trying to sleep, and they had the lights on. And Sidney Greenstreet, who was Kasper Gutman, he was reading a book. He was sitting in a chair reading a book, and he had a light on next to him. I don't know if you noticed he wore spats too.
yeah.
Yeah. But at one point, I guess they didn't say it was, they said something about it's getting daylight, and Humphrey Bogart got up and he starts turning off the lights. And I thought, okay, so that to me showed that much time had passed. It's now morning. And that's when you said, as he said, he called his secretary, Effie, and asked her to bring the package over, which was.
And you have to think of, I don't want to call it misogyny, but at that time, he called Effie in the middle of the night to go talk to Miles Archer's, just go over and deal with her.
Yes.
Because he didn't want to see Miles Archer's widow at the time. Obviously, he was having an affair with her. But the way, and this is why I didn't know what to expect from you in terms of this movie, because the way women are delegated to in this film can be a challenge for people in seeing how they work and what they do. It was the 40s, and obviously he gets the upper hand of O'Shaughnessy in the end with the movie, and gets the upper hand on all of them in terms of particularly that last monologue. It's like, no, it's your partner. I cannot let my partner's death go unresolved and unavenged. So yeah.
I didn't see what the big deal was about her. When his secretary said, "You'll really want to meet her. She's quite a looker." I thought, okay, I was expecting something different. I didn't get the appeal of her.
Yeah. Among the others considered for this role, and think about this, because I didn't think, who is she? I keep calling her O'Shaughnessy.
Mary Astor.
Mary Astor. I didn't see Mary Astor as a looker.
Mm-mm.
However, they had some really interesting people up for the role, including Olivia de Havilland.
Yeah.
Rita Hayworth. Now, she would have been a looker along with Olivia de Havilland, Paulette Goddard, and Loretta Young. And it
Ingrid
didn't work
Bergman?
out. Who?
Wasn't Ingrid Bergman considered too? Or did I
Yeah.
imagine?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ingrid Bergman.
Yeah. Yeah.
those I feel much more compelling femme fatales than, yeah.
So you
Interestingly
keep
enough,
mentioning Olivia de Havilland. We're going to have to watch The Heiress one of these times.
okay. I mean, I think of her from um, Gone with the Wind, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, and didn't I read that Mary Astor was having an affair with the director, with John
Oh,
Huston?
don't know about that. Could very well be. John Huston was a player. Um, yeah. And then for the male roles, briefly considered for Sam Spade was Edward G. Robinson. Other
Hmm.
actors include Henry Fonda, Fred McMurray, Frederick March, and Paul Muni. Do you have any thought about who would be able to pull that off?
Maybe Fred McMurray again, because we saw him in,
Double Indemnity.
thank you, Double Indemnity, because now I have a whole different view of him.
Yeah, I think Paul Muni would have been an interesting choice. He's always kind of been in those darker kind of films, and
Hmm.
I can't see Edward G. Robinson. He's too much of Edward G. Robinson to be
Yeah,
portraying Sam Spade.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, he's a bad guy. I don't think he would have been a good guy.
yeah. They got Humphrey Bogart when they lifted his suspension. He, I guess, refused to be in a movie, and Bogart supplied his own wardrobe, which was common
Hmm.
as a cost-saving practice for
Hmm.
folks.
Yeah.
And I really like Elijah Cook. He was 38 years old, and he had a pretty long career too. Um, he's the last surviving member of the cast in 1995 at the age of 91.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah, it took me a while to figure him out in the movie. I kept thinking, okay, who is this person? And who is he and why is he following them? They referred to him as was he the boy that was outside the window the one time
yeah,
also? Yeah,
yeah, the Gunsel too.
Gunsel, right.
Yeah. So he basically did the dirty work for Gutman,
Mm-hmm.
which was why it was easy to pin the murders on him. They had to find a fall guy. And
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, he was it was interesting because Gutman said, I think of you as close to you as someone as like my own son, but then he was willing to sacrifice him in the end.
yeah. Sidney Greenstreet's first role, he lived on to, I think, 1991. Um, oh, excuse me. He didn't live on until 1991. He lived on till 1954. However, he was born in 1879. So, despite his girth, he had a pretty
Wow.
long life. Peter Lorre, 1904 to 1964. Um, so, yeah.
Yeah, Sidney Greenstreet, he was always in the theater. This was his first performance in film, and he earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. I thought I enjoyed his laugh, and he had a very interesting laugh and chuckle.
I was just thinking that when you said I enjoyed his, and I'm like, it's got to be the laugh and
Yeah,
stuff. Ha
I
ha ha
did.
ha kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was very natural, I thought. And I couldn't tell if it was like a nervousness of his that just kind of came out in the performance, but I really enjoyed him.
And the fact that he was dedicated to finding the statue, he obviously had the resource to do it because his attitude was,
Mm,
let's not give up on this. Let's just go on to the next clue
yeah,
till we
yeah.
find it.
Spend some more money.
And I believe he and Peter Lorre were picked up by the police
Hmm.
in relationship to the killings.
Yeah, and so was Wilmer Cook, because he
Yeah,
actually left the room ahead of time because he knew, he was going to take the fall for it. So he thought he was going to get out of there, but of course Bogart ratted on him and all of them
what did you
because they were
think
going to
of
leave the
Bogart?
country.
What did you think of Bogart's character? Was he courageous? Was he sly? Was he kind of a rat?
Was he all three?
Yeah,
I well, I think he used um, I think he used Mary Astor, Brigid, because he obviously didn't trust her. He had to figure out, what her role in this was. I don't think there was always that ambiguity. Like, did they really love each other? Were they using each other?
yeah,
I was kind of left hanging at the end. I'm going to, because he gave that big speech about, well, I'll have some bad nights after, you're gone, but I'll get over it. I don't think there was any real love there.
yeah,
I think she used him. He knew what she was up to, and he played the part to get the information that he needed. And I don't know
yeah,
why he had that side affair with his partner's wife, because that shocked me when she came in with her. I loved it. She had the veil over her face, because she was in mourning. She lifts the veil and throws her arms around him, gives him that big kiss. I'm like, oh, okay, there's something going on there. But he called everybody princess and
yeah,
precious, and again, that was just the way it was. I think he obviously did the right thing in the end. And I think she expected him to not turn her in. She thought that, if he loved her, he wouldn't do that. But I don't think he really did.
yeah. I think it was all a ruse on his part to find a solution
Yeah. And
to the
again, it's
murder.
such a short time together. I mean, what, days?
Yeah,
Yeah. And who knows, he said, who knows if you're going to put a bullet in me? You're going to
yeah,
turn against me. So he didn't trust her. Why
yeah.
should
He said,
he?
"I stopped trusting you when you paid $200 for me to follow somebody, which is way above the
Right.
price of what you
Right.
would pay." So I knew there was something
Yeah,
else
and
going
she
on.
lied to him from the very beginning, made up that whole story about her sister and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't. This is the part I can't figure out. Not that I can't figure it out. It's I don't. It doesn't fit for me. What does the
Okay.
affair with Miles Archer's wife have anything to do with the plot?
That's what I mean. It was, except to say maybe he's not a good person, that maybe he can't be trusted, that he just likes women and I
Yeah.
don't know. It didn't make any sense to me because it was very minor, and then she would reappear and say she was jealous. I'm like, again, it didn't add anything.
Yeah. Seemed to be a
Didn't add
distraction.
a thing. Yeah.
Well, any other things that you want to say about the film?
Um, I'm just going to say my two favorite characters, Peter Lorre and Sidney Greenstreet. I enjoyed them together. It's an interesting film. I think, if you haven't seen it before, you should watch it. Don't get too hung up on all the, the technical parts of who shot who and who killed who, because it is confusing. Um, it's a good film, and I think most people would enjoy it.
Yeah, the film and the novel film follows the novel closely with few exceptions. Gutman's daughter, a decoy trip to a vacant house, meetings with Spade's attorney. Remember, he's on the phone with his attorney saying, "Hey, if I keep this
Mm-hmm.
confidential, how much trouble am I going to get in? And will you be able to
Mm-hmm.
help me with that?" And a subplot about Archer's brother is omitted. So um, I kind of like it when films don't take too much freedom with original novels or original books. I like it when they stick to that.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are some movies that just take the title of the book and then the movie is absolutely nothing like what's in the book, but this fits closely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some interesting things in here. The film couldn't be legally broadcast on U.S. television because of its suggestion of illicit sexual activity and the implication that Joel Cairo was homosexual, or what we would say gay. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the term Maltese Falcon does not appear in Hammett's novel until page 424, 16 pages before the end.
My.
So, yeah.
Wow. I also thought it was interesting. We talked about Ingrid Bergman. She was it Elsa in Casablanca? Not sure,
Yeah.
Lisa, or was it Lisa? I'm not sure. But anyway, she was in Casablanca with Humphrey Bogart, and she studied him in this movie before she was in Casablanca with him. She wanted to study his technique.
Yeah, how do you study an actor? I mean, what I wonder what she would have gotten from that. Timing, maybe?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Because
And
I
that
can
again, that's
imagine.
something I've said this before. I struggle sometimes with these older movies because they speak so quickly. I
Yeah.
have to turn closed caption on. It's like, what? What? I go back and it's so quick.
Yeah. We got to get you in a Howard Hawks film. Those are like machine gun dialogue back and forth.
Well,
And
we what did we watch that was Howard Hawks? We did. Was that It Happened One Night? No. We did watch
uh,
something with Howard Hawks. That one was really fast.
it was Frank Capra. It wasn't Howard Hawks.
Okay. But what did we
Howard
watch that
Hawks,
was Howard Hawks?
I don't think we've seen a Howard Hawks
We
film.
haven't? Okay.
His Girl Friday is probably the typical movie that, of course, is a Cary Grant film, and
I've seen that.
it's its dialogue is crashing, and then Robert
Hmm.
Altman does a different thing with dialogue, which I think is fascinating. Everybody talks at the same time, so if you watch MASH, you're not picking up direct dialogue; you're picking up bits and pieces of it, and you're
Mm.
getting the story from the bits and pieces. You're not getting the story from some type of linear dialogue that goes on between characters. I've always found his work really fascinating that way.
Mm.
Anything else on this film? You want to share your favorite line?
Well, uh, give me a minute. It was something that Gutman said, and I didn't write it down. Something about, I like a man who talks. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh
I
yeah,
like to talk to a man who likes to talk.
talk.
He had so many interesting lines, I thought.
Yeah, this was really, in that
I
sense, it
like
was
talking
really,
to a man who likes to talk.
talk. Yeah.
Something like that.
For me, it's the thing that I remember and I will throw into conversation. It's the things that dreams were made of.
Well, of course, I knew
Yeah.
that. The
Yeah.
end. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the last line in the film. And,
Yes.
and it to me, it's a usable quote instead of, I like to maybe talk to a man who likes to talk. But I get it. Gutman was such an interesting character in the sense there's a little bit of egocentricity in him, maybe a lot of egocentricity in him, and a bit of drivenness and very, in a sense, manipulative or potentially manipulative in his
But yet
character,
he
but
was
pleasant.
likable.
He's
Yeah,
likable.
he
Yeah.
was so polite. He called him
Yeah.
sir, and I thought he seemed like a good guy, but he wasn't.
Yeah. Well, and I think the one character two characters I didn't like. I didn't like O'Shaughnessy
Hmm.
because it seemed like she was over the top. And part of that was she was over the top because Bogart had to call her out on stuff,
Hmm.
So I can tell that you're lying. Or are you going to, I like the line, now, are you going to walk around the room, poke the fire, and adjust things?
Yeah.
And but yeah, the one that I can use is more often is these are the things that dreams are made of, and you'll know who you're talking to if they recognize that quote.
True.
Someone who gets Maltese Falcon. So yeah. So what is our? I'll jump to what is our movie for the next episode?
Well, we're going to 1964 Father Goose with Cary Grant and Leslie Caron.
Yeah, and I remember seeing this movie in the theater,
Okay.
and I don't know if my dad saw it with me or it was one of those things where he dropped the kids off at the movie theater. I distinctly remember my dad taking me to see 2001, The Space Odyssey. So that would have been 67. So this comes in before then. So my guess is my dad didn't go see this movie, although my dad was an old Navy guy. So
Oh, okay.
it's he wasn't the drunk that Cary Grant was in the movie. It's directed by Ralph Nelson, stars Cary Grant, Leslie Caron, and Trevor Howard, who is a kind of British actor that you see in a lot of British war films and historic films. So yeah, we'll talk about that film. It is a bit of a palate cleanser. It's a bit of a farce.
Yeah.
There are kids in it, which generally, cute kids in it that generally
Hmm.
get on my nerve.
Girls. All girls.
All girls.
Yeah. Cary Grant's the only man. Well, on the island. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it is a fun film. If you haven't seen it, see it. Uh, or listen to our review of it and then see it. But next episode we'll be doing Father Goose from 1964. And I think this was, I'll have to look. We'll have to see. I think this came at a time in Cary Grant's career that he had agreed to do this film for some other purpose. We'll have to do some research on it and find out.
It was his last role as a leading man
Oh, okay.
because he
Yeah,
felt he
because
was getting too old.
he was in Walk Don't Run after this,
Yes.
which he wasn't a
Yes.
leading man, but frankly, if you watch that movie, you can't take your eyes off of Cary Grant in the sense of you're wondering to see what he's going to do next. But it's him basically matchmaking two people during the Japan Olympics. A fun film, another fun film.
Yeah,
But
that's
we
a
will
good
be
one
looking
too.
at Father Goose
Hmm.
next time. thanks for doing this. Thanks for recording the show and being part of this journey with trying to find good movies and trying to talk about good movies. And thanks for watching Fade to Chat, Golden Age Cinema. Subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/@fade-to-chat. And you can watch the video of what we're talking about. Contact us at the podtalknetwork@gmail.com. That's the email is podtalknetwork, thepodtalknetwork@gmail.com. And you can visit more about what we've got going on and other shows that I produce at thepodtalk.net. I've been sick for the last 4 days, so I appreciate your getting through my voice and getting through my spaciness, and some shows that I wasn't able to record over the last couple of days. But I'm back in spin. We'll get back to it. Spread the word to other Golden Age cinema lovers and keep the projectors rolling.